Can you file for Social Security while you're still working? Hi, I'm Garrett Ray, financial planner here at the Wealth Guardians and the Ray Financial Group.
And I'm Brice Payne, and you've entered The Vault, the Wealth Guardians video series on all things pertaining to retirement planning. In this episode, we're going to cover what the earnings test is, what your full retirement age is, and how that factors into things, working before you turn your full retirement age versus working after you turn your full retirement age, and what happens to all those withholdings that the Social Security office might have withheld from you while you were working, while filing for Social Security. What happens to those after you're done? Don't forget to hit these little like and subscribe buttons down below the video screen there if you're so inclined to subscribe and catch future episodes of The Vault with Garrett, Doug, and myself. Other than that, let's go ahead and get to it. Garrett, let's get started on talking about what is full retirement age.
Yeah, so I think most people out there know when it comes to Social Security, they know that they can file as early as age 62. And they might have an understanding that if you file early, then you're going to have a reduced benefit of what it could be. But when do you get that full benefit? And the Social Security Administration essentially has an age in which you're entitled to that full benefit, and that is called your full retirement age.
And this is key to understand before we get started in the earnings test.
Exactly. So unfortunately, it is a little bit complicated, and the answer is it technically depends. But the rule of thumb is essentially this. For those who were born in 1954 or earlier, then your full retirement age is going to be age 66. We have a graduated scale that we can pull up here on the screen for you that shows between the years 1955 all the way through 1959 what your full retirement age is, but it varies between age 66 and 2 months all the way to age 66 and 10 months. For those of us who were born in 1960 or later, our full retirement age as of now is 67 years old. So at that point, if you were filing at age 67 or later, then you get your full retirement age benefit or your full benefit. But what happens if you file for Social Security before your full retirement age and you happen to still be working? Well, now you're subject to something called the earnings test. And that's what we want to cover here for you today.
And so it was important that you understand what full retirement age is, because if you are older than your full retirement age, the earnings test does not apply whatsoever. So this is only talking about people who are filing for Social Security before their full retirement age, and they are still working before their full retirement age. If that is not you, this probably isn't important. But if you are still haven't reached your full retirement age and you are thinking of still working and filing for Social Security, this is an episode you will want to understand and watch so that you can make your decision based on facts and not suspicions or miscalculations.
Absolutely.
So Garrett, there are two earnings tests.
There are.
One is for your pre-full retirement age years up until the year you turn full retirement age.
Right.
And then there is a whole different earnings test for the year that you turn full retirement age. So let's assume that somebody was born in 1960 or after.
Okay.
And therefore, their full retirement age is age 67.
Correct.
There is a full retirement age earnings test. There is an earnings test for them from the years 62 to 66. And then there is an earnings test for them the year that they turn 67.
That 1 year they turn 67.
So what are these two earnings test numbers that somebody should be aware of?
Okay, so let's tackle the easiest one first, and this would be from between ages 62 and 66 if my full retirement age is in fact 67. And at least as of now, the full retirement age, the earnings test for those years is any dollar that is above $21,240 of earned income in that year, then you're subject to the earnings test, which simply means that for every $2 that you earn above that mark, they're going to withhold $1 from your Social Security benefit. Now, that number changes, and the earnings test in the year that you turn your full retirement age, in this case 67, that goes up, and you can earn up to $56,520 in the year that you turn your full retirement age.
So I think is because there's a lot of different in the year of and these months and whatnot, it's going to get easier for us just to go ahead and go to the graphs here.
I agree.
So let's talk about Ian. Garrett, Ian was born in July of 1961, so therefore his current age is 62, which makes his full retirement age 67. In July of 2028 is when he will turn that full retirement age. That's important for us to understand.
Okay.
Ian wants to go ahead and file for his Social Security age 62 in July of 2023. Let's say here that Ian's monthly Social Security benefit is $2,000 a month. Now he's still working, making $5,000 a month or $60,000 a year. In his first calendar year of working, while receiving Social Security benefits, which remember would be July through December of 2023, he earns $30,000 during those 6-month periods. So as we said, Social Security earnings test says that every $2 that he makes above and beyond this magical number of $21,240, he will have $1 deducted from his Social Security earnings. So let's do the math here. Ian made $30,000. Well, we subtract the $21,240, which means that he had $8,760 above the earnings test. So 8,760 divided by 2, that's 4,380 is going to be withheld from his Social Security income for 2023.
Okay, I'm following along, Brice. That makes sense.
Let's go ahead and start the graphs here. So 2023, Social Security has now withheld a total of $4,380 from him.
Okay.
Let's move on to 2024. This year is a bit different because this year now he will have worked an entire 12 months.
Right, not the July to December.
Not just the July to December, exactly.
Yep.
So Ian turned 63 in July 2024. His monthly Social Security benefit is now $2,060 thanks to a 3% hypothetical cost of living adjustment in January 2024 that he received. He's still working, making the same amount, $5,000 a month or $60,000 a year. But as we said, this year now, he's earned January through December.
So a full year.
Full year. Last time in 2023, it was only 6 months because he hadn't turned he hadn't turned 62 and filed for Social Security until July.
Okay.
So now he's earned a full $60,000. Well, we have to take $60,000 minus the $21,240, which is the earnings test.
Okay.
And that means that he made $38,760 above the earnings test. So that $38,760 divided by 2 is now $19,380 that's going to be withheld just for the year 2024.
Okay.
So
I see how we're going here, Brice.
All right. So let's go ahead and add that to what they withheld from him in 2023, $4,380. So now Social Security has withheld a total of $23,760. Now, the next 3 years, we're going to add all these together because they're exactly the same as 2024 was. He's making $60,000 a year. Poor Ian hasn't had a single raise since he turned age 62 and filed for Social Security. Doesn't really matter that Social Security keeps growing. That's irrelevant in these calculations. But now in 2025, 2026, and 2027, same as 2024, he's made a total of $38,760 above the 21,240 earnings test, which means divide that by 2, and Social Security is going to keep withholding $19,380 from him. So now we can see the grand total that Social Security has withheld from poor Ian is $81,900. Just because the guy's got a good work ethic and he wants to keep working, they're going to withhold that money from him. Now, we have to do the next year a little bit differently.
Right, because didn't you say something was different the year I turned my full retirement age, Brice?
There is something different, not just a little bit different, enormously different. Social Security is nice enough now that you've turned your full retirement age, or this is the year that you will have turned your full retirement age. They've now increased that earnings test.
So it's no longer the 21,240.
Nope. It is now 56,520. But he's allowed to make that not through the whole year. He's allowed to make that up until the month prior to what he turns his full retirement age. Well, when does Ian turn his full retirement age?
In July.
In July.
Yeah.
So Social Security is only interested in what he makes from January to June. They are not interested in July. They're not interested in all the months after he's turned his full retirement age. So now he's allowed to make $56,520 from January to June. If your birthday was not like Ian's and it was December, well, tough cookies. You can only make that $56,520 throughout the whole year.
Right.
If your birthday was in January, well, let's take that back. If it was February, you'd be able to make $56,520
in 1 month.
In 1 month, in January.
Okay.
So this is January to June only. Well, we know that Ian is making $60,000 a year. So from January to June, he's only made $30,000. Well, that is far less than the earnings test of $56,520. So they're not going to withhold anything from him this year.
Okay.
So now they withheld $4,380 from him in 2023, and then they withheld $19,380 from him in 2024, 2025, 26, and 27. But because they increased his earnings test on him in the year that he turns full retirement age, now they don't withhold anything from him this year because he's making, a more modest amount. So the total that Social Security office has withheld from him in those years ends up being how much? $81,900.
Well, Brice, I don't know if I'm particularly happy about $81,900 being withheld from me. So what happens to my $81,900?
Perfect question, because a lot of people think that that's gone forever.
Right.
Other people will think, no, I heard it's not gone forever. They give it back to me, so I'm going to receive a check for $81,900.
Well, how does it all work out then?
Well, both of those are false. Neither of those two things happen. Social Security is not going to keep that money from you. They just temporarily withheld it, but they are also not giving it back to you in a lump sum check either. So what they're going to do is they're going to estimate how much longer they think you are going to live. Well, for a male who has already reached full retirement age, Social Security office believes that he will live to be 90 years old.
Okay.
So that is another, how many years are we talking here?
Oh, it's another 23 years.
23 years. Yep. So how many months is that?
276 months.
There we go, 276 months. So they divide that $81,900 by 276 months, which means they are going to start now giving him back $297 per month added to whatever his Social Security check was on top of that already.
I see.
So that's how he's going to get it back. He's not going to get it back in a lump sum, but he is going to get it back. They're not keeping it forever. But that's how the earnings test works.
Wow. Well, that cleared up a lot in my mind.
You might have to watch this Vault episode a few more times if you really want that to be crystal clear. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of The Vault. Again, feel free to hit these like and subscribe buttons down below if you want to catch future episodes of The Vault with Garrett, Doug, and myself. I think that's going to cover it. Garrett, did we miss out anything?
I think that's a lot, Brice, but it is very clear. Thank you.
Very good. I'm Brice Payne.
And I'm Garrett Ray.
And this has been The Vault.